All right, so let me ask you something. Do you invest in crypto, dabble in Bitcoin, maybe trade on Coinbase? Well, it is sort of like the Wild West of investments. And there's been a move afoot on Capitol Hill, at least to provide some order, but it's never gone anywhere until right now. A bipartisan effort to maybe get some order to this crazy market at a time when a lot of people say it needs some sort of oversight, but exactly what kind of oversight? Enter Republican Senator Cynthia Lummis of Wyoming and Senator Kristin Gillibrand of New York. You heard me right. One is a Republican, the other a Democrat. But wow, it's possible two sides can work together to maybe get something going. Senators, very good to have you here. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Neil.
If I can begin with you, Senator Gillibrand, I mean, the argument has been, and it's been most vocal, that is, a lot of critics, for example, among Democrats, have been that crypto is a little dangerous and a lot unregulated, and it's out of control. It's fallen out of bed, much as stocks have fallen out of bed, but unlike some stocks, it has yet to come back. Is this addressing that, you know, so many people have lost so much money that you're saying order has to be restored?
Well, that's very much part of it. This is a growing industry that we want to flourish and thrive. And to do that, you need safety and soundness. You need market regulations that make sense, that are workable, that allow the industry to continue to grow and innovate. And so what we've done is created a baseline framework for basic oversight of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies. Some will be regulated by the CFTC, some will go under the SEC, they'll all be under the IRS, and some will go under the Office of Currency. And I believe, and so does Senator Lummis, that this is the best way forward so that consumers will know that in the United States there's basic consumer protection and that it's a market that is worth investing in.
You know, Senator Lummis, your colleague there was talking about the Commodity Futures Trading Commission largely overseeing this, and not the Securities and Exchange Commission, whose chief Gary Gensler has been a vocal critic of this whole investment rogue arena, if you want to put it that way. Was that by design, that the CFTC is a little less controversial policeman, or what?
The design is based on something called the Howey test, which is how the courts began to distinguish a commodity from a security. And so we have used that Howey test, made sure that it was fully updated to current standards, and it will continue to be used to determine which cryptocurrencies and digital assets are commodities and which are securities. I think the way it's going to fall out is that the lion's share of cryptocurrencies will go to the SEC. And the big ones will likely go, big in terms of market cap, will probably be at the CFTC. So the CFTC will have control over, for example, Bitcoin, and we'll be looking at spot and futures markets. The SEC will still have control over those that are determined by the same tests we use in the traditional economy to be securities.
So on that point, Senator Gillibrand, I know Todd Phillips, the Director of Financial Regulation at the Center for American Progress, it's a liberal think tank, I may be simplifying it, said that of your bill, the two of you, said that status quo would be better than this bill, that so many of these tokens are securities and need to comply with regular securities laws. This bill tries to create a special crypto-specific disclosure regime that I don't think discloses all the information. What he seems to be saying is it could still be very secretive, still be very sort of black market-ish. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but that this doesn't address that you could still have nefarious characters sort of rule things. What do you say?
I think he's mistaken. If you look at the way the bill is written, Chairman Gensler agrees that Bitcoin is a commodity. So let's start from there, because it has the indicia of commodities. For something to be deemed a security, you look at the Howey test, and you know, for example, when a company offers stock, it is offering that stock in exchange for money to build the company. If that is the formulation of the digital asset, it's going to be deemed to be a security. That may be true for many different types of digital assets. But if it's being used in the context of a commodity like wheat or oil or gold, it's going to be better regulated by those who understand that, which is the CFTC. Now, the CFTC is much smaller than the SEC,
right.
And so our bill accounts for that by giving it a self-funding mechanism so that the cryptocurrency participants who will be regulated by the CFTC will be given a fee structure. So they can hire more lawyers, they can hire cybersecurity experts, they can build their office. And I sit on the Agriculture Committee, and we had hearings with the current CFTC chairman, and I asked him those very questions. Can you do the oversight and accountability given the resources? And he said yes, because they're already doing the futures markets. They should do the spot market. He's prepared to do this work. And it doesn't leave the SEC out, because there's a lot of industry players, specifically those in New York City, who want to be broker-dealers, who want to be regulated by the SEC.
So there are other potential policemen to this.
Oh, for sure.
Okay,
and
then
also,
let me ask Senator Lummis, I apologize, Senator, but the odds of getting this through seem to be uphill, not only maybe because of the scheduling and the views of Republicans and Democrats who are far from the same page, your leadership, both of you notwithstanding. So is this even going to happen? Do you think, Senator Lummis, you can convince a number of your Republican colleagues, for example, that this is a step in the right direction?
Well, I think everybody around Capitol Hill has been very receptive to this bill, believing that this will be the initial framework that begins the serious discussion of how to create that comprehensive regulatory framework for digital assets. And so the bill will probably have 4 committees of jurisdiction, because it's involved with commodities, that's ag, SEC, that's banking, taxation, that's finance, and cybersecurity, that's intelligence. So a number of eyes will be on this. Many fingerprints will be on this. Will it take months? Absolutely. But we'll have a product that I believe will come out of this bill, because this is the base draft for the discussion. It formally begins the official discussion on Capitol Hill.
Well, I think the bigger issue, and it's a compliment to both of you, Senators, that compromise and working with the other side is possible. It is doable. And in a whole variety of other areas, that is very promising indeed. I wish you well. Senators, thank you both very, very much.
Thanks, Neil.
Thank you, Neil.